for in between the
You're
one.
live.
Okay, we're live. We weren't sure, but we are live. Hello and welcome to TEMPTU. Today is Thursday instead of Wednesday, but it's still a workshop. And I'm Sylvia Pichler. This is the lovely Larissa. And today we're going to be doing contour with our new and wonderful contour and bronzer. Contour
Bronzer.
Bronzer contour.
Bronzer,
So
yeah.
the verse that you hear here is
Hi,
our
guys.
CEO.
I'm
There you
Michael.
go. And this is Michael Benjamin. And he is here also for you to be able to ask questions because he's the creator of the wonderful air that we all love so much. Voila, voila. We're going to be using that. Thank you, Larissa. And yes, and of course, next to Mr. Benjamin, of course, we have the lovely bee. Do we see you? Do we
We
see
can't
you?
see B now. Yep,
We don't
absolutely.
see B now, we see B as well. And, you know, we're just going to have fun. This is going to be a short tutorial for those of you who are used to me yakking on a little bit longer. We're going to yak less and do a quick visual. Today, Larissa will have a little bit of foundation, which the reason we're doing that is that she's also getting a little bit of a correction. And then we are going to do the contour and the highlight. That's all we're doing today, and we'll try to catch various shapes, because that's the idea of which shapes do you need and how do you do your contour. Let me show you just a tiny bit of history here. We have right here, this of course is Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, who used what is called in ancient Greece the divine proportions of the golden rule, the golden ratio. To this day, that is used as a concept of beauty. We have moved around a little bit and it's become fashionable to do your contour in certain ways, but we still are looking for the shapes. So today, we're looking at shapes. There are 6 basic shapes that are mixed and matched. So you can see that Larissa has the diamond shape, I think, closest to the diamond shape. So she has the cheekbones, right? Let me see if you can see that. And she has a little bit narrower here, a little bit narrower there, but high cheekbones. So that is a diamond shape, which if there are the cheekbones a little bit less, then you can call it an oval shape. So it's not that, you know, pat and dry, but we're going to say your diamond shape.
Okay.
Awesome. Very nice. And for those of you who are not sure what shape you are, there's a little trick that you might want to try. Go in front of the mirror, put your hair back, have a little like pen or something that you can erase, and trace your face on the mirror as you look straight on, and then you'll see what shape you are. I mean, that's one very easy trick, so try that. Let me know how it works. I haven't tried it myself. I just read it somewhere. It sounds like it was a good idea.
Oh, come on. You tried it. Admit it.
I did not, because I know I've got a round, so that's another thing. I used to have a very nice square face, which I like, sharp edges. Now, more round. It turns round, so it changes with time, age, whatever. Okay, now, beautiful. So, Michael.
Yes, Sylvia. We got people. You guys need to ask us questions.
Yeah, so if you're there, take the advantage to ask questions. B will let us know what it is, and Michael will either answer or I will answer, depending on who you're wanting to, you know, put the question to. While that's happening, I'm going to start working because
That's what they want, Sylvia. They want you to work.
Dang it. Pressure. So, okay, so we have the lavender, one of my favorite things, because if you're very fair, you can't really go super light because it becomes chalky looking. So instead, we have the lavender corrector from the correctors, and the lavender will kind of allow us to make her fairer without making it look like, you know, with the Walking Dead kind of thing, which it can happen. You know, it can happen. And so we're also looking at the undertone that Larissa has. Now, she's a little bit red there, so we're also going to add a tiny bit of the yellow for correction. But that's the only one. The other girls are already coming with foundation. So, layers.
We were using that purple, the violet, or whatever you call it.
It's the lavender.
The lavender.
That's right.
We were using that backstage at Fashion Week this week on some of the squirrels, and it worked perfectly. The makeup artist loved it.
Right, well, because most girls in the fashion world for the most part, unless they're doing bathing suits, are going to be very pale. The industry likes pale for certain fashion, high fashion looks, although I'm, you know, it is whatever. But now I'm going to put a little bit of this color on, and you can see that it's just correcting the lightness. It's not correcting the red.
We also have a school in Hong Kong that loves it for their population. That like
Oh
really
yes,
light skin tone.
yes. You know that our population in Asia, there's certain areas of that like to be much fairer and are very fair to begin with. So now that's enough of the violet. I'm going to put a tiny bit of the yellow corrector just on the cheeks. The rest of it, the foundation will do. And the foundation we're using will show you the ivory, which has, actually I don't even need this corrector because the ivory, let's use the porcelain instead. With airbrushing, you can just go ahead and layer on top, underneath. This one happens to be underneath. This is porcelain. Let me have you a little bit. For those of you who already know this wonderful machine, you realize that you can layer and layer as long as you don't pull the trigger back so much all at once. You will never really have a trouble to have too much of texture. There's no texture. Chin down just a wee, over this way. So, there we go. And I'm just going to give her a light, make sure that she's matching well. Looks pretty good. Today's lesson was today's tutorial is really about the contour, so I'm not going to obsess about the foundation too much, but it's so easy to do. There we go, voila. How's that looking, Mike? How's it looking, guys?
It looks great. Nobody's really saying anything. I'm
well,
a little nervous about that. Why
don't get nervous because
anything?
they're looking. They don't want to always talk right away. Besides,
I would say to you, Sylvia, the light touch thing, I'd repeat that. I agree completely. Like my 2-minute lesson on airbrushing for beginners is like teaching them how to use as little as possible with the light touch on the trigger.
The light touch on the trigger.
Buildable. I also brag that our airbrush is the only brush in the world that you can put blush and contour under foundation, and you can layer it in different ways. And I always believe that people blush from within, so blush really belongs below the foundation, not on top. It's a more natural look.
Well, although I agree, but I would say there are many, many girls out there that are going to say, "Excuse me, I like my blush to come through." So let's, let's not make enemies right away. So it's true. Anyway, so now we have a nice little bit of foundation on with the correction. So now we go to what we came here for, what you came here for. Are you there? If you are, otherwise you're going to miss out on, where's my, oh, that was really smart. Where's my contour blush? The one, oh, here it is. I put it separately so that I wouldn't forget where it was. I'm sorry, guys. So this is the warm glow.
You should probably show them your organization at one point, but now that you're not organized, I don't want to show them.
I am organized. I am. I just can't. The one thing that oh, here she is. The bronzer. So now this is a warm glow, but today we're going to show you the bronzer.
See, we got a comment. Somebody loves the blush from within idea.
Okay.
So, not everybody,
all right, now you got, yes, very nice, but don't forget that I came up with that as well. Ha ha ha.
I'm not taking credit.
Yeah. So you can see that this is like a little tense here. So you have the one that we're talking about today, no shine. So the warm glow, the warm bronzer has some shine. Okay, it's a very lovely one, but today we're doing no shine so that we can contour and bronze at the same time. So people ask me, what is the difference between a bronzer, and a contour? And why can you put them together? Well, basically, anytime you have something that's shimmery, it brings it forward. Anytime you do something deeper, if it doesn't have shine, it sinks in. So therefore, you can do your nice contour with something that has no shine. If you do a bronzer that has shine, you're actually bringing it out, right? All right, so let me show you very quickly on the shapes. So today we talk shapes for for our purpose today, the idea of chiaroscuro, light and dark, that's ancient, right? We know about that. But what we want to see is that we have cheekbones. We want to bring those out a little bit more, which means we're going to do light. And we're going to just put a little bit of the bronzer there, which actually, when they're next to each other, will accentuate the lighter color, right? So, put it on 2, 1, 2. And if you touch if you touch your bone structure, you will find that this is where the bones are. Now, if you have the perfect little face that she has, you can just go with where the bone structure is. If you want to make something slimmer, then you may push it down a bit. But in her case, we just want to go where it is. Make sure that you start right, very near, right on top. Little circle, release air, and release a little product, and just move in. And then there's an imaginary line right here by where the eye is. You want to start to fade out so it doesn't get into your nasolabials, okay? So 1, 2, and you can see already, here we see it. Now for the purpose of today's shooting, we may just put more on there because you might not see it. So I'm going to ask B to let me know if it's showing. So you can speak to me if you like.
Hey, sorry guys if we're freezing. We're having a little Wi-Fi stuff going on.
Oh, a little Wi-Fi. So am I sounding like a stugga-dugga-dugga-dugga like that?
No, when you freeze, you freeze. I don't think they hear anything.
Oh, they don't hear anything at all.
That's moving now again.
Oh,
We'll work on that, guys. I have a secret for next time.
Okay, so you can see because of the diamond, I won't put anything dark here, right? But I will put a tiny bit of contour blush or freezing, a little bit on here so that you marry the look, right? And of course, contour the nose just a tiny bit. And here is, if we're back, here's really the real lesson, I think, that you can take away from contour, is that all we're doing is adding the third dimension. When you're sculpting, you're in person, you have three dimensions, right? The width, the depth, the width and the length, and then the depth. In a flat picture, if you're in a movie, if you're taking a picture, there is no depth unless you create it. So the depth is created either by the makeup artist, chin down a little bit, or it's created by lighting. So we are going to create it with this. Make sure that if you're going under the chin, you follow down to the neck. Now I know quite a few very fine and fabulous makeup artists that say, you know, less is more. Today we're going to do more is more because I want you to see it. Let me see you. Okay, this is pretty good. So as that imaginary line comes in, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask if you're there, give us a shout out and let me know if that's enough for you to see. Because for me, that's all I would want to do in real life. If I did a wedding or if I did a photo shoot or anything like that, I would not do more than that. Then I would take my highlight. So I'm going to do that. And the highlight can be shimmer. It can, oopsie, what's happening? Oh, nice. Well, I have more than one. That was good. I need another one of these. Okay, cool. Thank you. So I'm going to do shimmer, and the shimmer can be light, like in this case, we're going to go ahead and do a light peach first, or champagne right on top of that, because the other thing that brings things forward, of course, is shimmer, reflects. So I'm going to go ahead on 2 and put shimmer right on top of, and mix it right there, and then when she smiles, bring just a little bit there so that you really don't just have a stripe. Now, are we showing up okay, guys?
Yeah, everything's working right now.
Oh, that's lovely. There you go. So now, because she has that wonderful shape right here, that the cheekbones can really come out, I'm going to put a little bit there, a little bit here, and just a tiny bit on the middle right down the nose, and I'm just mapping the face with a little bit of highlight.
What highlight are you using on
I am using Champagne, which is one of my favorites because it has no color and it's extremely see-through. And everybody can pretty much wear it. If you're darker skin tone, then you're going to move towards the golden tones a little bit. The other color that is very lovely for this idea is, of course, the rosy color that was all really loving it, which is right, the rose gold. So on top of that, I can put the rose gold, and voila. And then we're done basically with that particular look. Now, may I ask if you guys are on and if that is showing up, if you have any questions for Mike or myself, write them, and then B will let me know.
I'm looking at it, I think it looks great. So there's a little too much brightness on it.
Well, that's going to be a lighting thing. Also, but that's actually, but Michael, that's actually a great point. So if I may take a moment for that. You never know if you're doing bridal. When you're doing a photo shoot and it's still, the photographer can rearrange the lights and make it all work for you, and you don't have to worry about too much brightness or whatever. But if you are in a life situation such as the red carpet or a bridal for sure, and people are taking all kinds of selfies and you have no control, then pull back on the glitter. There's no glitter on here, but pull back on the shine just a wee bit and do it more with contour perhaps. And what I like to do right now, because Michael made that comment, I'm going to put a little bit of her foundation on top, which is how you can naturally tone down something that's too shiny. Is that cool with you, Michael?
Yeah, go do your thing. It's about the people, not about me. You guys are great for watching. We appreciate everyone here.
So I'm going to put just a tiny bit of the bisque on it. Because one thing, when you layer, I already have her nice and she's really matching beautifully. I'm going to put just a little bit of this and see if we can get slightly less shine. Now, you know, those of you who are using our products here, especially the Hydra, especially the Perfect Canvas, it's all self-setting. You don't need to powder it. But if you turn down, if it turns out that, oh my goodness, there's just a little bit too much shine on the forehead for whatever, because you put the highlight there, then just take a little bit of very nice sheer powder, which in this case is the Invisible Difference, ours, and just tap it in where it gets a little bit too much. There we go. As I said, you don't need to powder, because I get that question a lot, but if you get too much of a kick with the light, this is the answer. So let me see. Yeah, you're done.
Thank you.
What do you think, guys? What do you think? Looking?
Great.
Okay.
I definitely think the powder toned her down a little bit too.
Yeah.
It's great for the lighting.
Yeah, so, you know.
Like we still have to work on our lighting.
Yeah, but I mean, I love this because, yeah, she's doing there's pictures being taken outside here. They love it, love it, love it. Let me see. I didn't do anything under the eyes or anything like that, because that's not today's little tutorial. We're only going to do about 30 minutes. So say goodbye to Lisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have our next model standing by. Not really. I don't know where she is.
Who's the next model?
I need that piece back. Yes, please, because in the back I have who's. Thank you. So coming. Who is coming?
Araceli.
Araceli. Yes, I love saying that name. Araceli. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Araceli, I mean, she could be a Botticelli painting as far as I'm concerned. She is absolutely. She has that real kind of look. That look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. You know. There we go.
So
Da Vinci.
again, I got to open up the camera a little bit. And back up there.
Okay, very good. So I want to show you that there's a round face, and you can see that this is Leonardo da Vinci, who knew his shadows. A little bit higher than I'm hiding her. Okay, that's okay.
Somebody wants to know how to avoid the foundation from cracking.
Oh, with our foundation doesn't crack. What are you doing to make it crack? We're going to have to arrest you. What's happening here? Cracking No, are we really? Is that the question?
Yeah, how do
Okay.
I avoid the foundation from
Okay, so while I'm doing this, I will try to answer that. Number one, if you are airbrushing and you're airbrushing too much, then it's possible that the texture is so heavy that you actually get a cracking makeup. But otherwise, the TEMPTU, any of the TEMPTU foundations are silicone based. They can be moved and they won't crack. They don't add texture. So I'm going to do a little bit of highlight there so you can see where I'm going with that.
I would say if you're trying to do heavy makeup, it's about light, buildable makeup. It's not about putting it all in one shot.
Well, that's
trigger control and light application, and just
That's right.
build it slowly.
wonderful.
And it won't crack.
Even if you put, I've put as many as 4 layers and it doesn't crack. I always try to talk to you about that question. Think about nail application. When you get your nails done, if they do everything in one single shot, then the nails will come off much, much faster and they don't look as good, right? So that's what I would say. That's how you avoid it. So I have my...
Pauline really likes your visual, the artwork.
You like the artwork? It's nice, huh? But, you know, the thing is, we're not reinventing the wheel. But what we are doing when you're talking about contour is you are modernizing why you're contouring. We're contouring, for one thing, it's the fashion. You know, if you're doing a Kardashian contour, then you're going to do something pretty strong. And I'm going to do a head and make just a little bit of that right now, right here, for Araceli. Here we go. And I'm not trying to change her look. I'm just going to make the dimension. That's really what I'm trying to talk to you about. But if you're doing contour to sharpen features, then you can do a corrective. So right here, under the chin, a little bit maybe, right? We're doing that. Make sure you go all the way in. Are we seeing that on?
Absolutely, I think I see it. I'm doing it tied up.
Oh, great.
I just tightened up a bit closer.
Thank you. So for
our
Araceli, her forehead, now she's round, but her forehead is a little bit smaller. You can see round, smaller there. So I'm not going to put a lot of darkness here, but I might sculpt a little bit right by the sides here. When you look at the eyes, you can just bring it up, and there it is where it's supposed to be. This is where the bones lie. There. So that's lovely. Chin up a little bit. Don't go too high because you don't want to create a beard. There we go. So now you have, think of it like a pie. Goes wider here and smaller there, right? Wider here. Go right into the ear and then smaller and stuff. There you go. Now, highlight over that. But if you don't want to do a highlight, then you can just do the powder to take down the sheen. Depends on what you're looking for. Michael, do we have a lot of shine there? Should I put a little bit of highlight there?
I think it's pretty good. I think she's a little less shiny than Larissa, nothing against Larissa. Maybe we fixed the lighting or something.
We did fix something, huh? All right, so...
It's the Hydrolock.
It's the Hydrolock. The Hydrolock is semi-matte, you know, and it still has the sheen, so people say, oh, I like shine. Well, you like dewiness. You don't really like shine or oil. You want dewiness, which you can get in various ways, as you can see. All right. Now, having said that, let me see you. Yeah. I mean, we could put a little bit more there. That's it, right? We have a third person coming in, and then we can embellish a little bit.
G, who's the third person?
Amanda G.
Who is it?
Amanda G's coming. We're going to get her.
Yeah.
Amanda G's coming.
Why can't I hear your name? What?
Amanda.
Oh, Amanda. What is that? Oh, Amanda G. Oh, because we have more than one Amanda, so this is Amanda G. And I said, who is Amanda G? So there we have that. Now, over here, let me just show you if you can. So you have the light, you have the dark. So now you need to go ahead with the foundation over it to, like Michael said, which I really do love to do a lot of times, is to put foundation over so you get an under the skin look. I really like that a lot. So let me put that. She's a beige. So I'm going to put that right over. And so that it becomes more of a shadow as well as, okay, let me see. Nice, okay. Now, if you need to do even more light, which I think I want a little bit for you, just a little lighter color like the rose beige, and go into the highlight areas without shimmer. Oh, okay, we did. Shake a little bit. If it doesn't spray out right away, just pull and see if it has.
Lily also mentions about the cracking to use a little primer underneath, depending on skin type, I imagine.
Yeah, well, I primed, and I did that with Larissa. I primed with a little bit of moisturizer and then use the foundation. In this case, I like to use the Perfect Canvas foundation, and that kind of acts like a primer because, you know, this is silicone based, so it really doesn't sink into the skin, which is what primers try to avoid. You know, that's why you have primers. Okay, you see this? There we go. Lovely. Okay, super. Yes, indeed. Oh, looking good. Even those of you who you don't really wear a lot of makeup, you can then pull back and still have a very well finished look. And at the end of the day, if you want to go out, you can add to it just another layer of stuff. So, what does it look like? Are we going good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. All right. So, because with the timing, I have my next girl ready, right? Okay, great. So,
I believe I'm saying her name right. Christine Duarte says hello.
Christine, hi.
And Lily's asking us, like, never heard of TEMPTU. I don't understand. What do you mean, Lily?
What do you mean, Lily?
Welcome to TEMPTU if you've never heard of us before. We've been around for 35 years.
Uh-oh, you're going to get our CEO all messed up here to say that.
But no, we're a small brand, so I understand.
No, we're not that small. We have really, I started using TEMPTU so many years ago, and I go back a long ways with TEMPTU. And what I love about, you did your makeup already? She has a little bit of foundation. What foundation are you using?
Bisque.
You're using Bisque, so you have the Bisque. She's sort of a little bit of combination. So we said you were square, oval, right?
Right.
So here's again, shapes, shift a little bit. Nobody's exactly one shape, or most of the time. So she has the square jaw, but she has an oval forehead. So what should be and where should you place your contour? Well, once again, it's really quite natural right here, so that you kind of get dimension here and give her the high cheekbones. So that's what we'll do right now. We'll go straight to it. What is our time, by the way? So I'm rushing so that I don't,
It's now.
Yeah, we're good. It's now. Oh yeah, I forgot my watch. I have to now. Next time I'll wear it.
What time it is in the real world?
The time in the real world? Well, not time, but how much more time do I have? So we have the lovely Amanda. So you can see that when you're looking at a squarer face, you're trying to kind of round off the edges, but she has that round there already. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring it out a little bit by gently putting my foundation on my contour, looking up. There we go, beautiful. There we go, and work slowly. In the beginning, if you're not used to airbrushing, you can do little circles. Once you're used to airbrushing, you can just do a half moon and kind of fade out as you get there, so that you don't, you'll be more in control where your shadows or where your contours lie. So little pie going small, and just don't get into the nasal labials here. Stay away from that area. Beautiful. And if it go a little bit over more.
So Sylvia, it's 12:30. You got like 5-10 minutes to finish up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay.
So then, one of the things that we try to do today, those of you who are out there, is ask questions of our CEO, I can't talk today. And see if you have questions about the air, how it came about, what was, the genesis of this was quite interesting and really very innovative, and I have to say, rather gutsy, because, doing something that's not done anywhere, the first of anything, is always tricky. So Michael, kudos to that.
So Sylvia, since she's a hybrid, what did you do differently from the oval and the square?
That's a wonderful, wonderful question. Is that question on yours question? I love it. So, hybrid here, you want to just soften this. Here, I'm not going to put any darkness here because then I'll make that even more narrow. So I'm just going to gently put a tiny bit of color here so that it marries the rest of the shape, and that it becomes more of where the sun would hit it, because here the light doesn't bend, so it will hit here first, and then this will recede, which is light and dark, chiaroscuro, right? So that's really all it is. So let me see. That's really nice. And here, let me go over this way. Thank you. There we go. So make sure that you bring this down to the neck. And once again, if you think you really want a more subtle look, all you have to do is put foundation right over it, which works beautifully. And it doesn't give me a hard time. So I'm going to put a little bisque on top. A little bisque. Sounds like food. Must be hungry. On two. And right over. So this is really the way I prefer to do any kind of shadows, so that they really look like a shadow. And don't breathe for a minute, we're on the nose. So when you're near the nose, by the way, just go quickly. In the point. That's wonderful. There you see. Oh yeah. Now, I've been asked one question that I want to address right now. When you're doing a lot of work in terms of layering, and the person has a little downy hair, you can take a little brush like that. She doesn't really have that, but I thought I'd take this opportunity. So even when it's already dry, the hair that has attracted all of the product first comes right off the brush, but leaving everything on the skin. So that's where you can get rid of the little downiness. How's that? Okay, B, tell me something. You can see this?
Yeah.
I love it because I don't know. So we have Larissa, we have the shapes. The shape that we're missing right now, we do have them. Maybe the next time we will show that. We have the heart shape. The heart shape is the most easiest to see because it's like very, think Reese Witherspoon, right? Reese Witherspoon, you have a heart. But if you turn it around, then you have an inverted triangle, which means that it's very narrow here. Gets a
Do you
little.
want to show it up for everybody?
Yes, I will.
Amanda is Reese Witherspoon?
No, Amanda's not Reese Witherspoon. Amanda, we decided that you can say wherever you are. She's between oval. She's, it seems like she's oval and square. So see that oval is round all the way. She's only round here. That's why she's a hybrid. We don't just have one shape, most of us. So she's would be this plus the square of the jaw. See, there it is, the jaw. So oval, square. So if you get your nails done, you go oval, square, square, oval. Well, if you go to the plastic surgeon, says, I want to have an oval, square face, they'll have to do this kind of stuff. I don't know. Are we out yet? Are we gone yet?
We're still on.
We're still on. So,
if we are done, we can say bye.
Well, if we're done, if you have any questions, anyone out there have any questions for us?
No.
Well, there you go. We're out of here. So, no. I have classes. We want to talk about classes. We have a Monday in March. We're done with February classes. But Monday the 5th and Tuesday the 6th, we have the intro and advanced class. and we have a bridal class on the 12th. So if you're in New York, you come, and all of this stuff can be hands-on. The advanced class, we will teach this really, really hands-on. And while we talk in a few more minutes, let me pop in a little bit of a highlight on top of this, because I really think you can handle that, and very much so. My favorite pink pearl for you. Have you tried pink pearl before?
I have. I love it.
I love pink pearl. So pink pearl is another highlight which you can use to augment. So here we go. A little bit of the pink pearl right over. See? Try a little bit. There. Nice. Bam, bam, bam. Super. Looks nice. A little bit on the eyes. Yeah, so that you can see it. And over her lip gloss. And it was really just kind of, wow. Looks so nice. Thank you so much. So, remember, bring in the questions, share. If you have questions later and you're looking, because you can go in later on demand, right? Then we will answer them for you. If you are in New York, come and visit and maybe have a class with us. Our departments here, we have some very fabulous people that know all about the airbrush. So they have the questions answered anytime. So let's say goodbye and wave goodbye. Bye guys, bye guys, bye bye bye.